Hello students. So this week in chapter 11 you're going to be working on something a little bit different, and so I wanted just to make this quick video to kind of introduce the information and the material and provide you with some notes. So from Blackboard I'm in coursework. I'm going to be in chapter 11 folder. If you'll notice down here there's some notes section, and so I included the claim instructions for commercial pay PDF, a case study set 1 and 2, and a blank claim form. So these two will be working with quite a bit. You'll be working with that quite a bit. I'm going to click on the claims instructions, and when that opens up, it just gives you the information. For example, on block 1, this is information that is should be in there, 1A and so forth. And so I'm going to click on this claim form, the blank claim form, so you can see what that looks like. So for example, this was referring to block 1, which is this block right here. Depending on what type of insurance this person has, you'll select or you'll click on that, and then 1A, if it needs information, it goes there. And so this here, 1A, 2, 3, 4, is kind of letting you know, okay, what information needs to go on there, and do I have this information in my case study. And so very good idea for you to print this out. You do have the option to print this out because you'll be using this quite a bit. Now the claim form is strictly for notes. So for example, if you submit a claim and you got something wrong and you're not sure exactly what it is or why you got this wrong, you can highlight it and go back into your textbook or into these notes and figure out what it was that should have been there, or any notes that you want to take. I know students in the past have asked me for blank forms, and so I just went ahead and uploaded one for you, so you can print it and write your notes on it as if you need to. If you don't need it, it's fine. It's just there for your benefit. The case studies, depending on what case study, for example, on this Sims claim case 1-1, that particular case will be in this set of PDFs. It's a 22 document file, so you don't have to print all this information out. It's just there if you need it. For me, it's easier if I have a whole page to view when I'm plugging in my data in the form, but you don't have to print it out if you don't want to. It's just there for your benefit. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a form, and so this is what the actual Sims claim case 1-1 for chapter 11 looks like, and it's totally blank. And so if you click on this show case study, here's the same case study that I showed you on this one right here. So it's Mary Hightower, and if you come back here, it's Mary Hightower. It's the same exact information, but notice how difficult it is for you to kind of view the case study and plug in that information. Now you do have the option just to print it, and of course you can print it to a PDF file or print it and have an actual paper copy. However you want to do this, it's totally fine. I'm just trying to figure out some easier steps for you to use rather than have to struggle with having to use these two very small windows to plug in this information. But again, totally up to you. Based off of your case study scenario, I'm going to go ahead and hide it. If you'll notice up here, I have two forms. I have Form 1 and Form 2. Based off of this case study, you'll need to figure out whether you need to fill out one form or whether you need to fill out two forms. It's not going to tell you on your case study, okay, in Form 2 you'll fill in this information. You'll have to know that based off of your chapter information. So for example, if this patient has two insurance companies, or if they have two insurances, you're not going to file one claim to both insurances. You're going to have to file two, one to go to the insurance A and the other one to go to insurance B. So you'll have two forms. So you'll have to use your own judgment there to identify whether it's just one form or two forms. For this particular case study, it's only one, so you won't need to use Form 2. It's just a standard build, so it's all your scenarios are going to have two forms whether you're going to use them or not. So just don't freak out because you're thinking, oh, I need to fill out two forms because there's two forms there. No, it's just there because it's a standard build for all the case studies to have two forms in there. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have 2 insurance forms filled out. So I'm going to click on Form 1. This is a student's submission from a couple years back. And so I wanted to show you what it's going to look like once you submit it, once you turn it in. So the first thing is, notice here on Form 2, this information, it doesn't have anything on there. So you have no idea whether or not you're supposed to fill this in or not. But you are. It's the actual insurance address. So this is the insurance information, and so this is the actual address bar that you need to fill in. And if you come back to the showcase, here is the insurance information and the address, and you have to enter this information on the form. So I'm going to hide it. And then the next thing I wanted to point out is, notice the typing on this student's submission of the patient's name. The R has a space and then the comma, and so that's why the system counted it incorrectly. And then there's no space between the comma and M for the first name. And so remember that you have to do correct typing when you're entering when you're plugging in the data in the form. So if I click on this little blue X, it's going to show me the correct answer. And so notice that Hightower, and then comma, and then space, and then Mary. So notice how, this student, and actually, there's a space after the Y and then a comma. And so that's why the system counted it incorrectly, because of her typing here. And it is incorrect. So she did not receive credit for it. So make sure that you're very careful and mindful of your typing before you submit the claims. Another thing I wanted to point out is, for example, here on number 32, the service facility location. So number 32 has this part, and then it has a section A and a section B. So when you click on the X, here's the address, which goes here, and then here is the submission for A, which is this information here. And then B, it's blank. So no entry required is talking about B. I know a lot of students have commented or asked questions, well, why does it have all this information here? And then at the very bottom it says no entry required. Well, because that's the answer for B. So if you see that no entry required, it's saying that it should be left blank. If you have any questions, or if there's something that you feel that the system counted incorrectly, please email me the case study you're on, for example, 11 Sims Claim Case 1-1, and then the section number 18 or number 24A, 24B, and I'll go in there and take a look and see, if I feel that, yeah, it counted it wrong, or it counted it incorrect and it should be correct, I'll issue credit if applicable. I don't mind doing that. Please feel free to email me and let me know. If you can take a screenshot of it, that's perfect. It helps me identify your assignment much quicker than me having to look through all your submissions to try and find out where the error happened. So as much information as you can provide will be very useful for me. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'm here to help.